So we conclude the Maimer and then begin with the next one. So up to h'tשכ till final Ois. Zehu Tzeno Ure'eno b'nei Sion, go out and see. So you understand this refers to now Neshamas Yisrael, who Dafka Neshamas Yisrael invested in them is the Koyach Ein Sof, and therefore there can be the true Yitzia, the true movement, the true going out, as opposed to Malachim. And Melech Shloimoi, referring to the Eibishter, Ba'Torah Sh'italoi Imoi, in the crown, and see the crown that his mother crowned him B'yim Chasanusim on the day of his Chasna, which is Matan Torah, and who is crowning him? Neshamas Yisrael. And he reconciled that with the three sources, the two Midrashim and a Gemara, as to who supplies the crowns, and explains that it's hidden be'etzem, but Neshamas that carry them, which means that Seder Ishtalshalos in the highest levels of Giloi is transformed by the connection to essence that happens only by Yid Lamat. So continuing in our Shagidei Tzeno, so through the Avodah of Tzeno, which is Aitzia Meged Hagbala, and explain at length in the mind, but the very fact, even before we begin the Avodah, the fact that the Neshama is in the Guf is already Koyach Ein Sof. But the Gilui of that is through Torah mitzvahs, and even more than that, didn't spell it out, Avodah Satshuva. In Torah mitzvahs itself, Nasa before Nishma, Kabbalah Sel, Mesiras Nefesh, didn't say Tshuva, but that's the general Avodah as well. The words of the Maimer, Kabbalah Sel, Nasa Kodim Nishma, that brings to Torah. Torah is Gilui. But for Torah to reveal, it has the property of Gilui. Torah expresses the truth. That's what Torah is. But for Torah to express the truth of the Ein Sof, a Yid has to be machadish in Torah. And what's the chiddush a Yid brings to Torah is nasa before nishma. And then Torah itself becomes the vehicle to express not only the wisdom of the Eibishter, which is its overt characteristic, but the very author himself. The author himself, the Ein Sof, is revealed through nasa before nishma, through Torah. Torah is transformed. In that sense, the transformation, the true transformation, which means a perception that is different than the post, in fact, the initial state is Seder Ishtalshalos. Seder Ishtalshalos says Maila is Maila and Mata is Mata. And therefore, Seder Ishtalshalos protests Hashem's attention to man. That happened over again in history. Outside of creation, Matan Torah, Yutis Kislev, and Heitevis, the various watershed moments in the evolution of the purpose of Dira B'Tachtonim, there's forever this protest becoming more and more subtle because it's counterintuitive that the Mata, the Atzmos Dafka, the Mata, it contradicts the whole beauty of Ishtalshalos. The whole beauty of Ishtalshalos is that there's a Mailam and a Mata. That's it, this is higher than Bria and so on. It's the whole point of it all. And to say that the Gilui Etzem is Dafka and the Yid struggle, the Mata and the Guf, that's forever novel and shattering. On the various levels of breakthrough, till the final breakthrough, the Heitevis are going to the Pratim and the various other stages in the Gilui of the Kavana Lamata. So Ure'eno, so through this Yitzia, the Yitzia happens only down here by Neshama. So then Ure'eno, what's Ure'eno? And you'll see the true connection to the Eibishter, not hearing about him, it means you're distant, but the Riyah means intimately connected, you're seeing it. The pasuk is medayek that who is achieving this avodah, this tachlis hakavon, it's b'nai Tzion, daughters of Tzion. What's the diuk? Tzion, of course, is a reference to Yerushalayim, so why not say that? Hainaloi b'nai Yerushalayim. So Chassidus explains when is the term Tzion employed and when is Yerushalayim employed. B'nai Yerushalayim means perfect fear, perfect awe. Shem hanashamas k'meishem l'mayla. That refers to the daughters, of course, of neshamas. So that refers to neshamas l'mayla. They're defined or described as daughters of Yerushalayim. Here, not. Here, b'nai Tzion dafke. Now, Tzion means a marker, an indicator. One of the many meanings of the word Tzion, it's a mark. It's in fact in Hebrew, modern Hebrew, your score. Tzion, that's your mark. What is a mark? A mark is a symbol. It means nothing. It just points to something else. It has no metzias itself. It's a symbol invested in. There is some value. So that is avodah neshama lamata, through the bittul lamata, the avodah of Tzion. That's when, not Yerushalayim, the beautiful awe and the experience that the neshama has the maila without working for it. But dafke b'nai Tzion, where you're simply a marker, your whole metzias says there's an Eibishter. That's your whole metzias, points that in everything that a person is. So that's the avodah of Tzeno, of going out, the stafke here, and that provides the pnimis dika crown as it goes into the seisha. The Tzion go refers to the neshama, it's not l'mayla, they come down l'mata. Excuse me. Tzion in the Vushat and Mitzvahs Begashmi is another implication of the word Tzion is a garment. And the garment Tzir Atayr the Mitzvahs, there's no garments l'mayla. In paradise, there's no need for clothing. Kipshuter, as it was by Adam and Chava, and likewise l'mayla. Clothing is the way we engage the world. There's no engaging the world. You're just in bliss. But here you need clothes because the world out there to engage, hot and cold. So that's the levushim of Torah mitzvahs, the garments of Torah mitzvahs. It's also implied by the word tzir, garment. Then through this, the neshama comes to see the melech shloim, melech malchi, melech makadosh baruch. What's the level here? The level here is the King of Kings, the Holy One, blessed be He, the Hainu. Chinas malchus the Ein Sof, as explains in the Rishimus Tzemach Tzedek, malchus of Ein Sof. And even higher than that, Torah shall gabe melech shloim. Melech shloim is malchus the Ein Sof. And what is the crown that's even higher? The mighty man. It's atik of Ein Sof, the essence mamash. Torah nimshechas ad b'chines imoy. So who draws down this level? He said the beginning of the Maimed. He's not at the beginning of the Maimed didn't, and here not also. It's not indicated in the pasuk dafke that, as he says now, it's the mother level, which means we're mashpia, as it were. Mother means a yid is mashpia kavayochel l'mayla. Gives the Eibush to something that he didn't have kavayochel. But he said in the beginning of the Maimed that the level of imay gives is higher than the level of imay, which he now explains, although it's not indicated in the pasuk necessarily. But Torah she'itah imay, maybe yes, the crown exists, and then the mother comes and convert and confers it, maybe. At any rate, but that's the fact. What does it mean? That Torah is higher than imay. Hainu the imay b'chinas bina the arich. Imay is bina, of course. Ema bon mismecha. Imay is bina of arich. What is the Yid giving? Is giving atik amitis amakif, the true makif. So what he's saying is that a Yid through Avodah reveals what's atik. Atik is the pnimis dike tainug that the Eibishter has, atzmos, and it's a Yid through his Avodah that reveals that. And of course, that pnimis dike tainug nisav hakadosh baruch hu, that is the ultimate source, higher than imay. That's from when the neshama is soul emerged. Because Eibishter wants a relationship with the Yidden, so the crown is higher, as it were. The crown is the ultimate tainug that a Yid completes. Atik, the mitis hamakiv. And as you said early in the Maamar, and this the Eibishter gives to the Yid. Prove that from the Gemara, Baba Basra, the Pasuk, Kodesh Yomar Loi, that the Malachim will say all this to every neshama, including the third Kedusha, which you explained yesterday to me, that the Eibishter's great desire that he has in the fulfillment of our avodah he shares with us, and he wants to share it with us, and that's the tachlis hakavana, that he should feel his tainug in us, his essential love, his essential bond. In simple language, he wants to share his nachas with us. We should feel the nachas that he has from us. We should feel it, not only he should have it. Because that's part of his nachas, is that we feel it. That is the nachas. Not part of it, that's the tachlis hakavana, that we feel that nachas. I want you to know how much I love you. I want you to feel it. So that's the Hamitis HaMaki v'Kol and Nimshe B'Yom Chasanus is the Matan Torah. When is all this drawn down? It all begins with Matan Torah, the day of the Chasana. Because that's when it started. There was 10 mitzvahs before. Kind of answering the question, there's 10 mitzvahs before Matan Torah. What's the Chiddush Matan Torah? The Matan Torah is the Yitzia, the Tzeno, the Nashe Zeo, Inyan Akdomas, Naisla Nishma. That's the Chiddush of Matan Torah. That we bring to Torah not only Chachma and Rotz, it's not an expression of will and wisdom, as lofty as that is, but the Eibishter himself, and what unlocks that? That's the Yids approaching Torah in a way that Torah itself doesn't demand of it. You're a fine Jew and you're Yotze without any of this. And nonetheless, he does it because this is the Eibishter, that's the Nased before Nishma, that's the Yitzia, that's what begins by Matan Torah B'Yom Chasanusa. Maamar, as I like it hinted to, said in Medrash. Medrash says the Mehechan Zochi Sol Kriya Shema. Where did Yidden? There's many answers to this question. How was Krishma born? Where did it start? Yaakov, etc. Yaakov and his sons. Here's another answer. Where does Krishma come from? Matan Torah. The Medrash says that Krishma was like this. The Eibishter said, Shema Yisrael. Listen, Yidden. Hanoich Hashem Alikecha. And the Yidden responded, Hanoich Hashem Alikecha. Hashem Alekeinu Hashem Echad. So Shema Yisrael is the Eibishter talking. Listen here, Yid. And there's a pause. And the Eibishter says, Hanoich Havai Alikecha. And then the Yidden respond, Hashem Alekeinu Hashem Echad. That's a Medrash thing. It's another, all the true, of course. But this is another expression of how what Shema Yisrael means and how it spontaneously emerged, as it were. It all began in Matan Torah. And what Shema Yisrael? Matan Torah nit na kechal avoid the Mesiras Nefesh b'Kriyas Shema. So Matan Torah gives an sinas koyach them for the Mesiras Nefesh of Kriyas Shema, because that's the tachlis beginnes b'chol ma'oitcha. It all began Matan Torah. He emphasizes, because that's the tachlis, that he connects to the third crown, the crown that the Eibishter takes from self kavayachal. He's tainug. Now it's concealed, but if this galalas, it'll be revealed then. And now, of course, in Chassidus, it's revealed to us when we get a taste of it, with hearing these words. Then Hashem be revealed, and we will see that the mouth of Hashem speaks. The pi havaya dibur. What's the pi havaya? There's two. Sometimes pi havaya is creation, but he explains that the emes pi havaya is dibur. The creation bemis is a sort of memories, but this is pi havaya dibur. It's a set of diburs. The pi havaya who had dibur the neichavar likecha. What are we going to see then? The neichavar likecha. And that'll be revealed. When Mashiach comes, shows it is Gala Gama Torah Gimel. Then the third crown, which was drawn down by Matan Torah. They have bittul dak Thomas Naislan Nishma Dafka through mitzvahs with a bittul. The Kabbalah is HaTorah al Kol HaShana, that Yid accepts Torah in the way of Mesiras Nefesh and Kabbalah's oil for the whole year. Lilmed Velasa is to learn and to understand, which means that he brings the bittul into a pnimius, into understanding, and into his heart, into his behavior. Shakabbalah al Kol HaShana tzricha is besimcha bepnimius. That the Kabbalah has to be the whole, he has to be besimcha, pnimius means the opposite. Simcha is believable, pnimius means bringing it into an orderly, internalized, structured avodah. Simcha shal mitzvah, with the joy of the mitzvah, but pnimius dafka, but it has to be drawn into and absorbed, be absorbed within, and become one with every detail of the person's life, down to the minutiae. Shari tzorich is avodah pnimis dafka. Avodah has to be dafka avodah pnimis, as we said before. Avodah pnimis zoyad the yisoid, but avodah pnimis is the foundation of Mesiras Nefesh. It is the Torah and came the Tikkun. It is the Torah is Mesiras Nefesh, and came the Tikkun is the pnimis. And the Rebbe is called to us. Avodah pnimis zoyad the yisoid. So this is to Mesiras Nefesh b'Kabbalah soil. Shalmaili v'tam v'das, which is hiding tam v'das, akdomas lais and nishma. There is a dafka leichim gamasat gimel through which this akdoma, this bittul, this yisoid, that we take the third crown and mizenim shach kabbalah satera kol hashana, and this gives a Jew takes upon himself and becomes suffused with accepting the Torah for the whole entire year. The primis besimcha shal mitzvah in the primis dekavoid and besimcha shal mitzvah there is a zeichim bekim a year, through which we merit the fulfillment of the promise. Simchas olam al reisham, the eternal joy upon their heads, begula hashleim, on the complete redemption, bebias Mashiach tzedkenu bekoriv mamash. Okay, so as we do, we'll read the opening Teichano Yonim just to get the flow, and there's no substitute for Chazorah, my friend, and as difficult as it is, and everybody's very pressed for time. And as time progresses, more pressed for time, as there are more responsibilities. Adenu levakeh shela fikecha, and it cannot be we learn a maimer, and it goes in and then floats out. Hopefully, it went in to begin with. So, just a summary here. So the crown that his mother crowns him, that's Knesset Yisrael, through whom is the crowning, the coronation, as it were, which he explained at the end, the Gila, that's the third crown, it's the Gilui of the Tainug, Atik, Pnimius Atik. And how are you able to reveal this, unlock this within the Eibush, as it were, and experience it ultimately in his embrace, because by them is the Avodah of Tzeno. And they're true mahalchim, true goers. Whereas malachim ba'imdim, because all of the aliyahs are limited. Now this inyan halicha that's the gili of the koach ein sof. That begins at the outset, the fact that neshama comes into a guf, like marriage, which is the gili of koach ein sof, because it's the yichud of opposites there too, of zachar and nekeva, beis hafachim, like neshama and guf. And in their fusion, and Shama Guf was even a greater chiddush, of course, in Zach and the Keva. So in their fusion is the Giloi Ein Sof, but what reveal, but not in their fusion is the investment of the Ein Sof. But what reveals the Koach Ein Sof is the Avodah Torah mitzvahs, Dveikus Nikeres, because that is a oil that reveals, whereas the Ein Sof that causes the Giloi Ein Sof, or the investor of the Ein Sof, that causes the Shama become one with the Guf, is not a Dveikus Nikeres. It's not revealed, it's not apparent. But then the Yid has to bring to Torah and Mitzvahs Mesiras Nefesh. That's B'chol Ma'itcha. And through that, Nasa by Yidin, the third crown, not just the first two, but the third crown, the Keseh Shenosan Baroisha, that Eibush shares with every Yid through this Avodah. Okay. Now you have the next Maimed.